Today in the Barnsley's kitchen we're going to show you how to extract the wax out of honeycomb. So this is raw honeycomb that's come out of a beehive, kindly donated by our mate Rob, and we're going to show you a quick and easy way of extracting the wax out of this honeycomb using items that basically you're going to throw away afterwards, because anything that this wax gets onto is useless to use for anything else apart from using beeswax. So first of all, you're going to need stuff that you're going to be able to throw away. So a coffee tin, or I actually like to use the larger chocolate tins as well. You're going to need something like this. Now what I've done here, just to make it a little bit easier and safer, I'll just get my snips. So you just cut off around here, just cut off a wee bit of the lip. So two things are going to happen. It's going to make it that little bit weaker in that area, so you can bend it, and it's also going to give you somewhere where you can pour. Be careful doing this, by the way, because it's very sharp. Right. There you go, we'll just chuck that there. Now, another tool to come. Just to get rid of a few of those sharp edges. Don't worry, Pam, I've got the chopping board down there. So you just hammer that down, and then also just give it a push together, just like that. And then that also gives you a nice easy way to pour out of it. I'll just give it another bit of a tap, and then just to be on the safe side, get a bit of sandpaper and just take off those rough edges as well, so you don't get sharp bits of metal in you. Now wait on 1 minute for the drill. Drill 2 holes, because this is going to get really hot, so you want to be able to pick it up. So just drill 2 holes in your tin. Now when you're drilling, push down first. You get that indentation in the top, push down first. Oh, see that? Not enough of an indentation. And then you can drill through it. And then what I do, just put a wee bit of rope, knot on the end of the rope, feed the rope through, and then there you've got your tin. All ready to use. So there you go, so that's what it's like when you've made it. Now I've got 2 methods going at the moment. I've got this method where I'm using the tin and I'm just submersing that into boiling water on the stove, which works, but it does take a little bit more time. But if you haven't got a rice cooker, you can do it that way. The other method that I'm using is using the rice cooker. Now, something else that I worked out, if I can find the scissors, something else that I worked out as well, get a milk container, cut it like this, cut the top off it, cut a bit off the handle, so that's what you're left with. Now then, you get the milk container, and fill this with your honeycomb. See how I'm doing this in a bag, so I don't get bits of honeycomb all over the kitchen? My wife would shoot me, because it's terrible stuff. So there you go, so you got that with honeycomb, and then once you've done that, chuck it in the microwave for 1 minute. By the way, you're going to need about 2 pounds of honeycomb to make a 1 litre container full of wax. So if you've got a beekeeper and they say how much do you want, 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of honeycomb, we'll get you a container like that. We'll get you a 1 litre container. So here's the one I've already prepared. Now then, chuck this into here. Just be careful that you don't get it coming out of this hole here as well. So just pinch that hole while you're doing it. So that's just warmed it up. This has already been cooking for a wee while. So let's just warm this up. and then it gets into there as the wax, which is beautiful. That's done it again for me. Now, oh yeah, you want to see inside? So yeah, so you got the wax which has been nicely melted down in there. Now, next thing, get yourself a 1 litre container, and what you've got to do is you want to make a wee filter at the top. So just use a bit of cleaning cloth. And what you also want to do is you want to make a deep well. You don't want to make it like tight across the top. You want to make a deep well, because what this is going to be doing is catching all the gunk that comes out of your thing. So I just tape it to the sides like that. And there you go. And like I say, you tape it on that side and that side as well, and you leave it with a deep well. Here's one I prepared earlier. Now, when you're pouring it, this is something else as well. Just make sure that you've got the area where you're pouring it, you've got stuff around, and also you're gonna want to steady your thing. 2 litre ice cream containers, either side, keeps it nice and steady. Right, I'll just put a glove on because it gets quite hot. Obviously, you've been messing about with this, and I'll show you how it comes out. So if you just want to go to the little pouring area, Pam, and I'll just wander over with this. And like I say, again, I can't reiterate this enough. Be careful with this stuff, because it is, if you get it on anything, it's a bugger to get off. So, and then you've made that little drop in the top, and then just pour your wax into it like that. You notice I've got paper and stuff all over the shop, because like I said before, it just goes all over the place. And as you see, the top's just catching all those bits of rubbish. So there you go. When that drains through a little bit, we'll be able to show you. But here's one we did yesterday. So this is what happens once you've done it. So that's all cooled down. Take the cloth off while it's still warm, because otherwise it's just going to stick to everything. So not while it's hot, but just while it's still a little bit warmer. So then this was made yesterday. So I just put a wee slice down here, wee slice across there, and what you'll see, and again, if you notice, there's paper everywhere, but it does get messy. And you just peel this back, and there is your block of wax. But at the bottom, for some reason, a lot of the honey and the rubbish, well, a lot of the rubbish is caught in the top, in your filter, and then at the bottom, you get all this honey stuff as well. So we just got to cut all this away from the bottom, like that. Using a knife that you're going to use for honey, I went and bought this especially for this job from a second-hand shop. So there you go, you cut that away, and then you're left with a nice block of beeswax. Isn't that corking? So quite an easy, quick and simple way of extracting beeswax from a honeycomb by the Barnsies.